Anya, we can start.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Anya Reddy. I'm the curriculum lead at CLAY, and I am so grateful that you've taken out the time and that you're interested in our course. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our course to you. All right, so I hope my screen is visible and that I am audible. So, as I mentioned, my name is Anya, and today I will be representing CLAY on behalf of our CLAY and CENTA Preschool Teacher Training and Certification course. So, I would like to invite Priyanka from CENTA to introduce CENTA to us, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure many of you, or most of you here, know about us because you have been attending lots of our webinars. But just to still give a brief introduction for those of you who are new to us, we are a teacher certification entity and one of its kind, especially in the country. And what we aspire to do is make teaching itself an aspirational profession. So, what we do, we assess and certify teachers on their competencies, and the teachers who get certified by displaying their competencies, demonstrating their competencies, we connect them to rewarding career opportunities. And these can vary in their shape and form, in the sense for some it might be recruitment, for some it might be promotion, for some it might simply be recognition in their ecosystem. And we do all these activities and we support these activities through a very enriching and thriving and very engaged community of teachers like you, which is called My Center. And the platform has more than 5 lakh teachers on it across multiple locations in the country and even abroad. And we kind of keep on putting more and more free learning resources there, as well as job opportunities. And these learning opportunities, as a lot of them are free, but sometimes on an interim basis we kind of also bring a lot of paid programs or paid courses. And this particular program we are doing in partnership with CLAY, specifically because we are focusing on early childhood. And CLAY, as you all would be aware, is a great player in this space. And with that, I'll hand over to Anna.
Thank you so much for that, Priyanka. So, now I will be introducing CLAY. CLAY comes under the umbrella of Founding Years Learning Solutions India Private Limited. So, Founding Years basically provides a very high quality schooling programs to children, and we ensure a safe and healthy environment for children to learn, nourish, and grow. CLAY, on the other hand, is India's largest and most trusted chain of preschools and daycare centers. Along with CLAY, we also have another branch of CLAY is the Institute of Early Childhood Education and Development, IECED, which trains early childhood educators and helps them grow in their understanding of child development. And also, we enhance their skill sets so that they will be able to best function in classrooms with children. So, CLAY is your will be part of your certification, but IECED, the training branch at CLAY, is where we, your faculty members, are from, and we will be your training providers. So now about the program, the preschool teacher training and certification course is ideal for entry level graduates, so anyone with a BA, BE degree, and also professionals who are looking to enter the education industry, who are looking to do a career switch, even for teachers who are looking to upskill themselves in their current careers. So this course is great for anybody who wants to start from scratch, and is also wonderful as an add-on skill, as an add-on course. It will help you upskill and upgrade yourself. So now, why specifically this course, right? Because I'm sure there are many others in the market. Well, one is that with our course, you get 6 hours of on-the-job practical exposure in Clay's virtual classroom. So you get to observe our K1, K2, and our toddler and pre-K classrooms as they happen online. Ever since COVID, we have very successfully managed to deliver our courses online to children, and we have also successfully managed to train our teachers to deliver these courses in a child friendly way online. So you will have the wonderful exclusive opportunity of being able to observe and get practical exposure to our classrooms. You will also have access to My Center benefits, which is flooded with contacts to 5,000, minimum 5,000 teachers that Center has trained in India. Over 90,000 schools. You'll have a lot of access also to their database, to their information, and this will be a database that you can return to once you've graduated as well. So it's a very rich contact base for you to have. Uh, Another reason is that Clay has over 10 years of presence in the early childhood education space. We have worked with parents, we have worked with teachers, we have trained caregivers, nurses, we have worked extensively with children from the age of 6 months to 10 years. So we have a lot of rich experience to bring to our courses. So we've brought a lot of the knowledge that we know works in classrooms as well. We're not only a textbook oriented course for sure. CENTA, as Priyanka has already mentioned, is an extremely prestigious institution on its own, and it's also renowned internationally for its early childhood education standards. It is, in fact, recognized on an international platform for its own standards. Last but not the least, we will also assist you in getting a placement after your course. If you do keep in touch with us, do include us in your email database, because we at Clay every now and then send out emails to our students, to our ex-students about our HR opportunities if we're hiring. And if you are available, you will definitely be first on our list, because, of course, we would prefer to have students who have gone through our own trainings and checks. So, beyond Clay's hiring, we will definitely go do our best to find a placement for you. But of course, that depends on how you perform on the course as well.
So to add to what Anya is saying on the benefits of this particular program specifically, which you are getting through CENTA and Clay, is that you would understand the basics of what ECE competencies are required, because CENTA has its own framework for ECE standards, and you would understand the entire theory about what ECE is all about, what kind of competencies you need to focus upon, etc. And you'll get lots of experience and exposure due to Clay's experience in this space. Placement assistance is an add-on. So you would definitely become part of Clay's own database when Clay has opportunities. In addition, we would, as a course coordinator, also be providing you various tips on how do you create your resume, how do you take an interview appropriately, etc. So we'll provide you those kind of support items. And Center also has a very rich and thriving job board, so to say, where lots of organizations, lots of schools, etc., keep on publishing your opportunities and basis the training program, and you're learning from it. If you do well in EC certification, which is part of the course, that's like a test. If you do well in that, you would also be able to access the opportunities which are available with Center across multiple organizations. So you would get theoretical understanding, you will get practical exposure, and you will get support. We get placement abroad also. So see, in ECE space, while there are definitely opportunities, there are regulations, rules, etc., which also impact each local geography's ability to absorb a person from another geography. So while competency wise, you would have all the appropriate competencies. Currently, unfortunately, we don't have very concrete tie-ups with ECE players abroad. So while it will prepare you for those opportunities in terms of regulatory approvals, etc., We are not sure how well would it work for you. And I just want to share this very frankly with you, so that when any of you join the program, you have the right expectations from it. It will give you a very solid grounding in all the required competencies and the exposure. And we would do our best to kind of give you that edge for your placement support. Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you for that excellent question as well. So, what will you achieve with our program? You will receive a record of participation if you regularly attend all the webinars and the virtual sessions. You will receive an ECE certification by CENTA to showcase your competencies, and that will depend on which level that you choose to attend. So, following this, Priyanka will be discussing the level 2, 1, 2, and 3 certificates that you can apply for based on what suits your needs best. You will also achieve an award of certification that is based on your performance in the assessment. The placement assistance, as already mentioned, on the behalf of CLAY and CENTA will be on best effort basis. And of course, your performance in the course and in the certification will play a huge role. Priyanka, I invite you to please discuss the levels 1, 2, and 3.
So, as Anya mentioned, and many of you might be aware of CENTA standards, the standards is a competency framework which talks about the various competencies expected from a teacher at different levels of a career. So, as teachers, you all would understand the competencies which you have or which you are expected to have when you are starting your careers are very different from the kind of competencies which you grow, and the kind of competencies which might be expected of you as you gain more and more experience. For example, L1 competencies, which are typically considered for a new teacher, are more like the competencies which you need in on the ground, in the classroom. For example, your ability to manage the class, your ability to observe the children and kind of give them feedback then and there. Level 2 competencies are more the competencies which are expected from an experienced teacher, where in an independent manner you are able to say create content which is relevant for your class. As level 1 teacher, you might get content support or the lesson planning support from senior teachers, but as level 2, you're expected to have some of your those competencies on your own. As level 3, you are more senior, you have more than 5 to 10 years of experience, and hence what is expected is that you will be able to coach new teachers, and you'll be able to guide them, etc. So that's how the level 1, level 2, level 3 competencies differ. And the standards cover these competencies in three broad categories, which are technical, professional, and core competencies. So technical competencies are the competencies which are crux of what you need to be doing as a teacher, like what's the subject expertise, what's the classroom management skills, what are content development planning skills, what are student assessment skills, so on and so forth. Professional competencies, on the other hand, focus upon how do you behave or interact in your professional environment. Things like how do you interact with other stakeholders, like students, what are your relationship with your students, what are your relationship with the parents, how do you interact with your peers, how do you focus on your own growth over time, etc. And core competencies are skills which are important for any professional in any setting. So they focus, for example, on communication skills. They focus on basic logical ability. They focus on basic understanding of the technology, which is very, very crucial in current time and era. And besides these competencies, there's a very important component which is called mindsets. That is, are you bringing the right attitude and beliefs? Do you actually think that all students can learn? Do you believe that parents are an integral part of their kids' education, etc.? So while the training program would broadly focus on level 1 competencies, now you would have access to what are level 2 and level 3 competencies as well. And given your own experience, given your prior exposure, etc., if you want to opt for the certification in level 2 or level 3, you would be able to make that choice. And you don't have to make that choice like right now when you register for the program. Once a program is about to get completed, like the training program, you would understand the skills better, you would know your own competencies better, and you can think through what you want to apply for, take your faculties guidance, etc., and choose a level where you think you have the relevant competencies, and then take the certification or the assessment for the relevant level. So that's what the last point talks about. Yeah, Anya.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. So now we'll move on to the program details and duration. So first up, I must mention that in a celebratory move, Clay and CENTA have very generously offered to slash the price of the course by 50%. So the course was originally priced at 18,000, and this offer is only for our first batch. So you can now get the course at 9,000, although that excludes tax. I'm not sure of the final fee, including taxes, but you can contact our team for that. You can pay for the course using EMI. So now moving on, the PTTC course by Clay and Senda is a 12-week or 45-hour online program. The entire program will be taken online, and both Clay and Senda faculty will be administering the course. The classes will be led by Clay and Center facilitators, and it will include two workshops of 2 hours each for 5 weeks with assignments. You will also get a 6 hour on the job practical exposure to Clay's virtual classrooms, toddlers, pre K, K1, and K2 classrooms. You will, of course, also enjoy the Center EC certification and graduation ceremony. And our faculty that will be taking your classes every week are experienced faculty. We each come with our own experiences and very rich experiences. The theory sessions will be followed up with practical assignments.
And as Anya is saying, this is a very, very good opportunity to be able to take this kind of a program at a very, very value for money, like a much, much discounted fee of just rupees 9,000 plus taxes. It's not an opportunity which comes always, as you are noting here also that the program fee was rupees 18,000, but given the broader circumstances and our like we really want to support teachers in these difficult times, etc. And hence, as a one-off special discount, we are offering it at rupees 9,000 for this particular pioneering batch. So I would strongly urge you to not miss this opportunity and register for the program at the earliest. The first class for the program is beginning early next week. So you don't have a lot of time to register for the program. Do not miss this chance.
Yes, as Priyanka mentioned, our course launches on 23rd of November, which I think is the coming Tuesday. And given the fact that you can also pay via EMI, the 9,000 rupee fee makes it a lot easier to bear as well. So we hope to see you register today. We move on to the program curriculum. The kinds of topics that we'll cover are child learning and development, age-specific milestones, and domain-specific development. We'll go into foundational literacy, age-appropriate classroom interactions for literacy, foundational numeracy, age-appropriate classroom interactions for numeracy, foundational art and music, foundation of play, lesson planning, pedagogical methods, and student assessment, and finally, classroom interaction. So now more on the practical exposure in Clay's classroom. You will initially be given practical exposure to the toddlers and pre-K classrooms. This will totally be a 3 hour practical exposure. So here you can choose whether you want to attend two toddler classroom sessions and one pre-K classroom session or vice versa. And then following that, you have the opportunity of getting practical exposure to K1 and K2 classes. This will be a total 3 hour session as well. And each student here will get an opportunity to attend two sessions. Each will be 1.5 hours. I would like to invite our center facilitator, Manisha, to please introduce herself.
Hello, good evening. Am I audible,
Yes.
Anya? Yeah. Really excited to connect with everyone. To introduce myself, I'm Manisha Upreti. I've been in the education sector for the past 7 years. I started my career as an assistant manager in a data analysis team of a leading private insurance company. And while I enjoyed my work, I would often think about the impact I'm creating in my role. Education is a domain that has always intrigued me. So I ended up foraying into the education sector, and I have been here since. I started my journey with the Teach for India Fellowship, where I taught grade 5th and 6th in a low-income private school for 2 years. And after that, I taught music for 1 year as a teaching artist with Music Basti. It's an organization that is based out of Delhi. I then went on to set up and lead curriculum assessments and training vertical for IT schools. It is a chain of 8 low-income secondary schools, and it is built in partnership with the Pune Municipal Corporation. I did that for 4 years. Our vision here was to make our secondary students college and career ready. A major challenge was that most of our students would enter secondary grades with massive learning lags, which mostly stemmed from inadequate early childhood learning and foundational literacy and numeracy. And being on the other end of seeing middle and secondary grade students struggle in foundational skills actually made me realize the value of building a strong foundation of learning. And this inclined me towards the early childhood education domain. And in my quest to learn more about how do we create inclusive learning experiences for each learner, how do we bridge growing learning gaps, and how do we build strong foundations. To explore these questions, I joined as a training and design consultant with Central Square Foundation and SoulSark, which is the numeracy partner, on Mission Ankur. This is a state mission to strengthen foundational numeracy outcomes in Madhya Pradesh. And I am currently building a teacher professional development framework and a blended training program that would impact around 1.5 lakh teachers, 15 lakh students, and 60,000 schools in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Having heard of CENTA, as I'm continuing on my role as a consultant, having heard of CENTA and about the rigorous research-driven approaches they use towards creating their teacher assessments or their courses, when I heard about that they are building a course on early childhood education, I just jumped on the opportunity. I wanted to learn as well as share my experiences in this collaboration, and that's how I am here as an EC consultant with CENTA. Really hoping to see a lot of you in our upcoming session on 23rd. And yeah, I think that's a long introduction, but I think that suffices.
Thank you so much, Manisha. I just want to say that Manisha will be taking a lot of the classes, and honestly, there could not be anyone who's got more experience and more passion and more of the right questions also to be teaching you. It's so helpful and meaningful when your teacher has the right questions before she starts teaching. Aditi, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself to us. Aditi, are you there? Meghna, can I request you to introduce Aditi to us?
Anya, probably you should just continue with yours, and maybe Aditi and Meghna are having a bit trouble joining the session. I'm not
Okay.
sure. So why don't you just continue with your introduction as a faculty, and meanwhile we'll just try to sort it out.
Sure. Thanks so much, Priyanka. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, my name is Anya Reddy. I'm the curriculum lead at IECED. I joined CLAY in March. Prior to joining CLAY, I was working as a children's therapist, specifically using play therapy. My journey in play therapy actually began in a classroom. It was in a third grade classroom, I think, where I noticed a student acting out completely. He was, climbing the walls literally. And I was just wondering, what on earth do I do about this child? And every teacher knows, what it's like. You enter a classroom, you have so much to do. You don't really have the time to also manage behaviors, right? That's completely disrupting the entire classroom. So then the following week after that, I walked into the classroom and I was looking out for this child. And I made eye contact with him and I said hello to him separately. And for the rest of the class, he was absolutely well behaved. And then I learned that, that both the child's parents work and they have no time for him. And so this is how he, communicates his need for attention. So that just meant so much to me. And I think it rekindled a latent desire to always be a children's therapist. So then I went to France and I studied play therapy and I was practicing for a couple of years until the pandemic hit us. And then I had the wonderful opportunity to join Clay under Meghna Yadav's guidance. And it's been a very interesting, full of learning kind of a journey where I've been discovering how I can use my skills to empower teachers to in turn empower students in classrooms. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming today. I hope that you will join our course. I hope that you will register because, like we've all mentioned, your faculty is very, they all come with very rich experiences. The program is designed by Clay and CENTA, who both have extremely deep experience in these fields. And at the low price of 9,000 rupees, we're so thrilled to be able to do this for our first batch. If you
Now
have
we'll
any,
just open the session for questions, and I see one of the questions which was about the timing of the sessions. So most of the sessions will be conducted from 4:30 to 6:30, or like 2 hours. There might be slight changes once in a while, but that'll be done in conjunction with all the participants. So you need not worry about that. The session timings, otherwise, are 4:30 to 6:30 on the concerned days, and you can check the schedule, etc., on either Clay's website or CENTA's website. And if you have any other queries from the faculty on the program design, what program will cover, or any other kind of query, feel free to put it in the comment section and we'll respond to them promptly. And if even if you have any other query after the session is over, feel free to write to us on our email IDs and we'll respond to you promptly. As we were saying, the program starts on 23rd. So please do register at the earliest so that you're part of this pioneering batch.
thank you so much, Priyanka.
We'll just wait for a couple of minutes, Anya, to see if there are any queries from anyone on the program. Any kind of query which you have on the program structure, etc., is most welcome. Anya, I think there is one which you will be able to answer, which says, as I am Clay teacher, how can I manage my shifts and the class?
Okay, well, I think we can discuss that on a one-on-one basis. Um, I hope that we will possibly be able to change your shift as a clay teacher so that you can attend our course. But please contact us separately for that so we can
So,
really delve.
Misbah, it'll be good for you to talk directly to your supervisor in the Clay system and explain them that you want to participate in this program, which is being offered by Clay and Centa in partnership. And we are sure that you'll be able to work out something. And Panna, there is no record of participation for this particular webinar because this particular webinar is not to focus on building any competencies, etc. per se. This particular webinar is being done to share more about the program itself so that if you are interested in participating in the program, you understand the program better, what it talks about, what it covers. If there are any queries you have, we will try to answer them. So there is no record of participation for this particular session. But if you complete the program, if you register for the program and attend all the webinars, all the training courses, for the program per se, you would definitely get a record of participation from Clay and Center together. As well as if you meet the performance cutoffs for the certification, you will get an additional ECE certification from Center. There is a query about the duration of the course. So, Anya, would you like to take that?
Sure. The course is for 2 hours every week. It's a 12-week course, but it's totally, I think, 45 hours, including the practical exposure.
And Padma, there you have a query on cash level 3 certification. So, unfortunately, while these competencies can help you build the right competencies towards that certification, having this certification or attending this course will not directly give you that certificate, though it can help you achieve any relevant certificate. And Misbah, if you want to contact, I'm sure you know how to contact Clay, but if you want to contact CENTA, you can write to us at team@centa.org, team@centa.org. And Padma ma'am, as I was saying, there is no record of attendance or participation for this particular session, as this is more like a information sharing session, not so much as a competency development session, which are typically the webinars which CENTA does on Mondays or Thursdays typically. This is a slightly different kind of a webinar or a session, and we don't have a record of attendance for this particular one. Misbah, unfortunately, we are not in a position to answer the query which you have currently on how can you achieve the cash level 3 certificate. I'll request you to please look onto the internet or connect to the relevant people to understand more about that certificate. Either Clay or CENTA do not run that certificate, so we won't be able to share the relevant information. Like, we are not the right people to tell you about that certificate. Do we have any other queries from any of you about this particular program and how it can add value to you, etc.? We'll be more than happy to answer your queries. And as Anya and I have been saying, this is a very precious chance for all of you to attend this particular program at a very, very discounted fees, which is just like direct 50% off on the regular course fee of 18,000. You would be able to enroll for this course in only rupees 9,000 plus GST of 18%. So we really hope to see many of you registering for the program at the earliest. So we have a question which says, I'm a Montessori teacher, how this program will add more value to me. So see, as Anna and Manisha have been talking about, this particular program, if you already are trained, but maybe you were trained a while back, this particular program will help you upgrade your skills, get to know more about the things which are going on into the sector, because this is a very evolving space like early childhood. So, what are the new and upcoming theories? How do kids learn? Any developments, etc. in it? And if you are not trained, if you are not a trained teacher, but you are doing Montessori teaching more as a practice and experience, it will help you build those fundamental concepts and help you understand what's the theory and what's the background behind some of the activities which you actually do in the class as a Montessori teacher. So the course will help you build your foundations as well as help you practice some of those things using assignments and using Clay's virtual classroom exposure. So, Misma, as I was saying that while we can support you in getting a job abroad, that's something which we won't be able to commit on. But if you have good opportunities, we can definitely kind of help you prepare better for those kind of opportunities. If there are any specific requirement as part of the program, we'll try to help you address those queries, but we won't be able to commit to that. As we are saying, this is more like placement assistance. We would help you figure out how do you build good resume, will support you with interview tips, etc. Clay will make you part of their database so that, but Misbah, that might not be relevant for you because you're already associated with Clay, but for others, that might be a very good value proposition because Clay is a very big name in this space, right? And Center also works with many other organizations besides Clay for ECE placement, and will be able to, if you do well in the program and the certification, will be able to kind of connect you to the relevant opportunities in other organizations as well. So we hope we have been able to answer any queries. And as I was saying, if you think we haven't been able to answer your queries right now, or if you have more queries even after the session, feel free to write to us at team@centa.org. And between Clay and Centa, we'll do our best to answer your queries. And we really hope to see you as part of this program. Thanks a lot, and we'll take your leave for now. And thank you. Have a good evening. Bye bye,
Uh,
everyone.
okay,
Anya, do
just
you want to add something?
checking. Aditi, have you been able to join the call yet?
No, Anya, we unfortunately don't have Aditi.
All
So
right, all right.
maybe Aditi is facing some challenge in joining, but we don't see her.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you.
for joining.
And my colleague has been pasting the link for the registration in the chat for any of you who want to just go ahead and register for the program right now after the session. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.